to you.
Morning.
Good morning. Happy Election Day.
Yes, it's a big day for you. So you heard Donald Trump's interview a few minutes ago. What's your reaction to that? And what was your reaction when he said he thinks he could probably mend a relationship, wishes you the best?
Well, I heard what he said, and he talked about how he was a bit vengeful, talking about how I promised I'd never run against him. He also needs to remember that I campaigned for a lot of governors and a lot of House and Senate members, and after we lost all of those elections, that's when we decided to jump in, because we lost in 2018, we lost in 2020, we lost in 2022. I was just in Michigan, and since Donald Trump became president in 2016, they lost the governor's mansion, they lost the state house, they lost the state senate. Same thing in Minnesota. I went to Colorado. No Republican has won more than 45% statewide since Donald Trump became president. I went to Virginia, the exact same thing. Glenn Youngkin was able to win, but that's because he ran it on his own and kept Donald Trump at arm's length. This is not personal. This is about the fact that we have to win. We can want to change the country all day long, but if we can't win an election, we can't do any of that. Right. And I know he's in denial about the fact that we win general elections, but, he said that he hadn't seen a poll in 3 months that I'd won. Marquette, last week showed I win by 18. Your own Fox poll shows I win by 8 against Joe Biden. This is just about winning elections. This is about getting our country back on track. This is about paying down debt, closing the border, preventing wars, and getting our kids reading again.
Right. Governor, Ambassador Nikki, today is Super Tuesday. So, a lot of people are going, what is going on in her head? How does she think she's going to do today? Because I know that a number of states are open primary states, so you can have Democrats, you can have independents vote along with the Republicans. Is that your best path right now? Are you counting on Democrats and independents to help you?
No, everybody wants to say that. But if you look at, even if you look at South Carolina, less than 5% of the people that voted for me were Democrats. I mean, you're talking about, these are Republicans out there. I mean, these are people who feel like we have got to start talking about paying down our debt. Donald Trump's yet to talk about it. We've got to talk about this wasteful spending that happened under his watch, and Republicans are continuing. We've got to talk about how we're going to prevent war, and we can't do that by sticking our head in the sand and assuming it's going to go away. And if you saw the thousands of people in Texas yesterday at our rallies, the thousands of people in Virginia, these are people who are not anti-anything. They're pro-America. They want to see us go forward. And, when 70% of Americans said they don't want Donald Trump or Joe Biden, we're blessed to live in a country where we have elections. Right. And that's what we wanted. People wanted someone to vote for, and that was the number one thing that we were told was, thank you for giving us someone to vote for. And I'm incredibly grateful to everybody in every state. We went to 10 states in the last 5 days, and thousands of people showed up because they want to see something positive. They want to see something good. They want to see something where we can go back to the values that make our country so great.
Nikki, I have so much respect from you, not only being a woman to woman, but also you're from the great state of South Carolina and have done so much for South Carolina. But I do have to ask you some tough questions, and I hope you'll respect me for that. Iowa, third place. New Hampshire, you lost by double digits. Nevada, you lost 2-1 by none of the above. South Carolina, our home state, you lost by 20 points. This past weekend, you lost, including Michigan. You did win D.C., but if you don't have a good night, are you going to drop out? And when will you realize it's time to unify? Will you unify and support Donald Trump if he does win tonight?
I mean, Ainsley, if I were to get out of the race, it would still be the longest presidential general election in history. I don't know why everybody's so adamant that they have to follow Trump's lead to get me out of this race. All of these people deserve to vote. 16 states want to have their voices heard. Let's let their voices get heard. I think it's as pro-American as it gets. That's where democracy. We don't anoint kings in America. We let people have choices. And so many people said they wanted someone to vote for because they think it's a terrible mistake that we're going with 2 candidates in their 80s that can't serve 8 years. And so, look, this is about me loving the country that I love so much. You look at the fact that there were 14 candidates in the race. We defeated a dozen of them. I've got one left. In Iowa, we were 1% from second place. That's a pretty amazing feat. In New Hampshire, we got 43% of the vote. Right. In South Carolina, the state I love, you can't deny the fact that we got 40%. 40% is not winning, But 40% is no small number. And that's the part that I think people need to remember. These people want their voices heard. They don't want to be ignored. They don't want to be just said that that's nothing. They're actually quite something. And they want something different in our country. And I respect them tremendously for that.
And in fact, we had a guest on earlier who was talking a little bit about, you go back to 2016 when Donald Trump first ran, and the Ted Cruz, the final man standing, didn't bow out until May the 3rd. So I get your point. Will Cain this morning, Governor, is at a diner in Texas, and they had a bunch of questions for you. And one of them that I think would resonate with our viewers still watching right now is, how long would it take you to close the border if you were elected president?
Well, I look at what's happened, and, you know, what was so frustrating is you saw that there was a border bill a couple of weeks ago. And the good part of the border bill was it strengthened asylum laws. And we have to do that. 3 million illegal immigrants came in under the Trump administration because our asylum laws are not strong enough. The weak part of the bill was it didn't have Remain in Mexico, which we have to have. And it had a 5,000 person threshold. We can't even have a 1 person threshold. But what should have happened is Congress should have gotten in a room and not come out until they strengthened that bill to protect Americans. But what happened was Donald Trump said don't pass anything until after the general election because it would hurt him. We can't wait one more day to strengthen these asylum laws and pass a strong border bill. And we can't sit there and make this about one person. This is about the American people. So I passed the toughest illegal immigration law in the country when I was governor of South Carolina. I would take those same approaches and go national with it. We have to do a national E-Verify. We have to get 25,000 Border Patrol and ICE agents on the ground and let them do their job. We need to defund sanctuary cities. We need to go back to Remain in Mexico. And instead of catch and release, we need to go to catch and deport. We cannot allow this lawlessness to continue.
Nikki, you said that you were not going to run against Donald Trump. He mentioned that, and you did run against him. You also took the pledge to support whoever the Republican nominee is. And over the weekend on the Sunday show, you you were waffling on that. You didn't really answer the question. You seemed to back off on that. And then you said you're not running for no labels if you don't get the Republican nomination. So just set the record straight. Is it no to no labels? Is it yes to support the nominee?
I am a conservative Republican. I have been all my life. And, you know, the problem is right now everybody's saying if you don't support Donald Trump, you're a Democrat. That's terrible, and that's not unifying, and that's not going to get anyone to win a general election. What I will tell you is I'm a conservative Republican. I have said many, many times I would not run as an independent. I would not run as no labels because I am a Republican, and that's who I've always been. That's what I'm going to do. And so that's my focus. What we wanted was to give people a voice. We're going to have that today. 16 states and territories are going to vote. God bless America that we get to do that, and then we're going to take it from there. That's what we've always said.
Why the change? Why on the debate stage did you say, I will support the nominee? And now it sounds like you're saying if it is Donald Trump, it doesn't mean you're a Democrat. It just means you don't support him.
I didn't waffle on that. What I said is that's not a decision I have to make today. The convention isn't until July. We've got 16 states voting today, and so we want those 16 states to vote. I don't have to go, but I haven't heard him pledge to me that he would support me if I won. So I don't know why I have to go and pledge to him that I would support him if I won. I think this is a matter of the fact that we're both in primary.
Yeah. Before you go,
I pledged that I would support the nominee when I was on the debate stage. But what I want to do, I get to do what I want to do, Ainsley. I don't have to. If he refused to sign the pledge, I don't have to go forward. But I'll make that decision on my own. This is something where I'm focused on an election. When you're in the middle of a fight, you don't think about what you're going to do if you lose. You think about how you're going to fix things when you win. And that's what I'm doing. And so as much as everybody wants to go and push me out, I'm not ready to get out yet. I'm still sitting there fighting for the people that want a voice, and they deserve that.
All right. Governor, Ambassador Nikki, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck on Super Tuesday.
We wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Steve. Take care. Have a great day.
All right.